We are this close to Persona 4 Remake becoming a reality. They even updated P4R's domain name, so an announcement is on the horizon. Atlus is probably brushing Teddy's new fur as we speak. But let's be real here. After Persona 3 Reload set the bar sky high, P4R can't just waltz in with a fresh coat of paint and call it a day. If sky's the limit in the case of Persona 4 Golden, then P4R should travel the roads less taken and reach newer heights, leaving us fans breathless and addicted. Okay, I may be just be quoting the lyrics of Persona 4 anime opening, but I mean all of that. Persona 4 Remake needs to get everything right, since this is not just an ordinary video game. It's a cultural time capsule for how it managed to capture the beauty of rural Japan. The whole murder mystery aspect keeps players wanting for more and encourages us to reach for the truth ourselves. The bizarre TV world that gave these characters existential dread, while also effectively communicating what it is like to discover and accept your actual self. And let's face it, 16 years after the OG P4. Heck, even Golden's 2012 re-release is in dire need of a remake. The clunky menus, repetitive random generated dungeons, and PS2 era junk are really showing their age. And quite frankly, I'm sure we don't want a repeat of Persona 3 Reload's shortcomings, such as not letting male cis members a social link option, changing voice actors who are very much beloved by fans, and of course the whole FemC issue. So here's everything that Persona 4 Remake needs to get right. But before that though, if you want P4R to have a fully voiced social link, then like this video and join Otaku to find for more Persona content.
Hi there!
Where'd the manners come from?
Let's start with the obvious. Persona 4's visuals need a revolution. Imagine Yasugami High's classroom bathed in dynamic lighting, where sunlight filters through the windows and rain glistens on Inaba streets. Since this is the kind of graphical fidelity that we got in Reload, while I appreciate how Atlus completely overhauled the visuals in P3R, it did take away some of the original aesthetic that really captured the grim, oppressive atmosphere that sees Steam face in confronting death, as everything looked brighter and more stylish. So instead of feeling the dread, it made me want to dance. Persona 4 Replay needs to have a better graphical overhaul than this. Yes, it should definitely look more modern and polished, but that doesn't mean it should lose its identity in the process. Keep the yellow color palette, as it perfectly reflects Persona 4's themes in pursuing the truth, the tapes used in crime scenes, and the game's bright, cheerful tone underneath all the mystery. Now, the best graphical update that Reload managed to hit is its 3D models. When you compare the in-game models of Persona 5, Persona 3 Reload, and Persona 4 Golden, it's apparent that Reload comes closest to matching the look and feel of the original character portraits. And not just that, they are also way more expressive, bringing much-needed personalities to each scene. This is making me excited to see Chia's karate kick, or Chia panicking, or Chia being embarrassed in hand-holding. Okay, maybe I just want to see Chia. Now, of course, the UI has been Atlus and P Studios' bread and butter ever since Persona 5. I've already said that you can display the menus in museums. Persona 4 Rewatch need to inject this fluid UI while keeping the iconic yellow and bright aesthetic. P4R's menus should feel alive. Think of transitions as smooth as GA's evasion to bugs, battleheads that pulse with the rhythm of reach out to the truth, and a map screen that turns Inaba into a diorama of cozy, explorable areas. The animated scenes definitely need a revamp, but they shouldn't lose that distinct style, like you're watching them through an old CRT TV screen. So I also hope they use the TV aspect ratio whenever we watch the Midnight Channel, while also putting in static transitions rendered in real time, with shadows written like ink and a fog that invokes the hidden danger. Then top that with a 60 to 120 FPS support, especially since even Nintendo Switch 2 is now ready to port games in that frame rate. We need battle sequences grilled to perfection like the steak, and facial animations that can rival Zenless Zone Zero. I mean, if a gacha game can do this, why can't Persona, right? Considering that Reload already had tons of amazing expressions, please add that in P4R so that we can finally see what Reset thinks of this fire alarm. as well as Kanji's blushing face every time Naoto is on the screen. But of course, graphics isn't everything, as P4R also needs to get the combat right. Persona 4's TV World dungeons were quite revolutionary in the franchise at that time, as each dungeon captured the Shadows version of the investigation team like Yukiko's castle and Kanji's bathhouse. Unfortunately, most floors of these dungeons are randomized, except for the boss fights and event areas. Grinding through these procedurally generated hallways feels as repetitive as Teddy's unbearable puns.
At this rate, it might end up getting bare naked.
Bare naked? Was I supposed to laugh?
Persona 5 really did it best when they made sure that each dungeon would represent the distorted desire of the palace ruler, and Persona 4 Remake has the golden opportunity to change their dungeons for the better. The TV world should reflect the twisted insecurities that these characters are hiding. Now, combat in itself needs a heavy makeover. The One More system is a tried and tested mechanic. That's why improvements made in Royal and Reload should absolutely carry over into Persona 4 Rewind, building on what already works so well. Give us their version of baton pass to chain attack between enemies, dedicated buttons for each action, and quick assist for analyzing enemies. Please, no more scrolling through menus like we're still using Windows XP. And for the love of Pilemon, add some mini dungeon saves. It's quite frustrating to crawl this random spawning dungeon then lose your progress because your console unintentionally shuts down. It's also maddening when Shadow Kanji wipes the team to start from the very beginning. Speaking of boss fights, it deserves reinvention too. They need to be smarter, like Shadow Yukiko shouldn't just spam Agi. Why not give her summons like her shadowy perception of Chie or stuff from the Amagi Inn? Kinda like how Kamoshida can call upon Mishima and Shiho. I'm also down to see the shadow bosses use some new ultimate moves to make the fights more entertaining, like Shadow Yosuke imitating Spider-Man doing a maximum hyper combo finish. Of course, combat isn't the only gameplay of Persona, as it is also our favorite dating sim. In my opinion, Persona 4's heart lies in its characters. The game really made sure that you will feel at home whenever interacting with the cast. But it's a shame that a simple grocery trip is what it takes to rank up the social link. Persona 5 and even Persona 3 handled social links really well by aligning them closely with each game's core themes right from the very beginning, such as Tae trusting us enough to reveal her secret medicine, Maiko opening up about her fears over her parents' looming divorce. While Peeper S-Link did tackle the theme of truth and accepting yourself, it didn't happen until its later parts, and most of the S-Link scenes really felt like a slice of life anime. However, I'm doubtful if the direction for that will be changed, but thankfully there's a way to make P4R's S-Link better, and that is to simply fully voice them like in Reload. Then other social life activities in Inaba need to feel more alive by adding minigames. I love how in Persona 5 we get to really interact with Ren's activities, from playing baseball to even working part-time. So why not let you have a folding minigame while working for the envelopes, or a gardening minigame to really feel Dojima's excitement for these veggies?
Great vegetables.
When it comes to the story, I've already mentioned how Reload made some great changes, tweaking the script and removing insensitive scenes. That said, I really hope that in P4R, any script changes still preserve the character's original charm, without toning down their insecurities too much or sanding off the quirks that made them memorable, even if they were a little annoying at times. I've seen some fans asking for Teddy's perviness to be toned down, but that's actually a key part of his character arc. It's the same with Kanji struggling about his gender identity, or Yosuke being insensitive toward it. These flaws are intentional because as the story progresses, they learn more from their mistakes and begin to grow, accepting themselves and each other along the way. Of course, new tracks are a given, so we're likely to get a new banger whenever we ambush enemies. But aside from that, they need to remix some songs to match any weather conditions in Inaba, like dampening the soundtrack's tempo during rain. Lastly, and this is more of a personal wish of mine, I think it's time for Persona games to apply a dedicated photo mode. Since Inaba and Persona 4 has always been presented and marketed as a small yet welcoming place, filled with heartwarming people and paired with rustic activities. So why not add an option where we can capture those memories in-game? If Atlus nails all of this, then Persona 4 Replay won't just be an ordinary game. It will be a masterpiece that bridges generations. But if they cut corners again, then we should expect the fanbase to riot harder than Kanji during a biker gang raid. But what do you guys think Atlus needs to get right in Persona 4 Remake? While these wishes are good and all, it's also best to keep our expectations in place. And coincidentally, I also have a video about that, so please check it out. Join Otaku Define for more Persona content. This is Math, and stay awesome, my dudes.